For more than 4 decades, Reba McEntire stood as country music's safest symbol of grace. She was dependable, polished, and endlessly professional, the woman who absorbed disappointment quietly and returned stronger without complaint. Even when sidelined, replaced, or overlooked, Reba never lashed out. She smiled, showed up, and carried the weight alone. That image became part of her legend, which is why the moment she finally spoke, calmly and without bitterness, stunned Nashville. At a Grand Ole Opry milestone celebration, Reba revealed that a powerful industry figure had worked against her deliberately and publicly. No theatrics, no rage, just truth. For fans and insiders alike, the realization was chilling. If someone could push Reba McEntire to break her silence, the damage must have run far deeper than anyone imagined. What followed was not a scandal, but a reckoning. These are not grudges rooted in jealousy or ego. They are scars left by humiliation, erasure, gatekeeping, institutional control, and broken trust. The burden of being country, music's nicest survivor. Reba McEntire built her career in a genre that rewards politeness and punishes disruption. From the beginning, she understood that survival for women in country music often meant swallowing pain quietly. While male peers were allowed anger, rebellion, and ego, Reba was expected to be grateful, agreeable, and endlessly accommodating. She learned early that pushing back came at a cost, so she didn't. She adapted, she worked harder, she replaced confrontation with consistency, and let her talent speak instead. Over time, this restraint became both her armor and her burden. Industry executives trusted her because she didn't embarrass them. Peers felt safe because she didn't challenge power structures. Fans adored her because she never turned pain into spectacle. But this image came at a price. Silence became expected. Disrespect went unchallenged. Boundaries were quietly crossed because everyone assumed Reba would endure. Her graciousness was mistaken for permission. The deeper truth is that Reba wasn't weak or naive. She was strategic. She knew when speaking would destroy her leverage. What makes the later fractures so devastating is that they came from people and institutions who benefited from her restraint, then used it against her. Tanya Tucker and the wound of public humiliation. The deepest betrayal Reba experienced came not from rivalry, but from mockery delivered in public. Tanya Tucker was not supposed to be an enemy. For years, the two women were framed as allies who understood the cost of surviving a sexist industry. They shared private conversations about exclusion and disrespect. That shared understanding is what made the insult unforgivable. In 2014, during a nationally visible all-female country tribute, Reba's absence sparked immediate questions. Tanya's response, posted publicly, dismissed those questions with a single line that reduced Reba's legacy to a joke. Calling the tribute a party stripped Reba's decades of influence of seriousness. Posting it publicly ensured the humiliation would linger. It wasn't careless. It was intentional. What hurt most was not exclusion, but erasure wrapped in mockery. Reba had been quietly removed from shared roles before and said nothing. This time, silence felt like surrender. After that moment, Reba ended all contact. No confrontation, no reconciliation, just clarity. She later summed it up perfectly by saying, "People show you who they are." Tanya didn't just take space. She rewrote history in public. Vince Gill and the violence of silence. Some betrayals don't arrive loudly. They arrive through absence. Reba's fracture with Vince Gill began on a night designed to celebrate her stature. A televised CMA Awards duet had been rehearsed, approved, and promoted. Then, hours before the show, Reba's name vanished from the set list. The performance went on without her. What followed hurt more than the replacement itself. Vince did not call. He did not explain. He did not apologize. For Reba, who valued respect above comfort. That silence spoke volumes. Being replaced could have been discussed. Being ignored could not. At the time, Vince's influence within CMA circles was growing. Even a private acknowledgement would have mattered. None came. Reba later described the experience with devastating simplicity, saying the silence was louder than any insult. That sentence captured everything. Silence signaled acceptance of her removal, if not participation in it. She didn't retaliate or complain publicly. She withdrew. Their warmth cooled. Collaborations ended. The relationship never recovered. Reba learned that silence, when it protects power, can wound more deeply than words ever could. Travis Tritt and the quiet gatekeeping of power. Reba's conflict with Travis Tritt was never public because it didn't need to be. It unfolded through decisions made behind closed doors, where influence determines belonging. In the early 2000s, Reba accepted an invitation to join a prestigious all-star country project celebrating legacy and tradition. Her inclusion felt unquestionable. Then the final lineup appeared without her name. No call, no explanation. She learned through someone else, visibly uncomfortable delivering the news. Insiders later confirmed that Travis objected, arguing the project should remain male-driven. His opinion carried weight, and the door closed quietly. The message was clear. She belonged until she didn't. Months later, a charity performance connected to his management circle was canceled days before the event. Again, no direct conversation. Reba summed it up later by saying they didn't sing in the same key. It wasn't about music. It was about values. Gatekeeping doesn't shout. It excludes. Travis never needed to insult Reba publicly. His influence did the work for him. Reba responded the only way she knew how. She stopped stepping toward doors that were never meant to open for her. The Grand Ole Opry and grief. Turned political, one of the most painful moments in Reba's career didn't involve competition at all. It involved grief. During Naomi Judd's memorial at the Grand Ole Opry, Reba was invited to deliver a closing tribute. Naomi wasn't just a legend. She was a peer whose private battles Reba deeply understood. The song choice and placement were meant to offer finality and respect. Less than a day before the event, the program changed. Reba's performance was shortened and moved earlier. No phone call, no conversation, just an updated rundown. According to those close to the situation, internal resentments about Reba's visibility influenced the decision. In that moment, grief was treated like a scheduling inconvenience. Reba still performed with grace. She did not make the night about herself. But afterward, she left quietly and declined all interviews. Weeks later, she admitted that night broke her heart in more ways than one. Trust didn't disappear instantly, but something fundamental shifted. The Opry remained sacred. The people managing it did not. Garth Brooks and the damage of a broken promise. Reba's fracture with Garth Brooks wasn't explosive. It was procedural. In the early 2000s, the two discussed a co-headlining tour privately. Not a rumor, a real plan. Reba cleared space in her schedule, trusting the conversations happening behind closed doors. Then announcements appeared. The tour moved forward without her. She found out publicly. What hurt wasn't the decision. It was the silence. No warning, no courtesy. No acknowledgement that her calendar had been reshaped around a promise that vanished. Insiders suggested the tour was restructured to maintain clearer control and branding. For Reba, that explanation didn't matter. The damage had already been done. A promise made in private had cost her credibility in public. She later described this kind of injury perfectly, noting how private assurances can still destroy you publicly. She never confronted Garth. She never hinted at the story. But her approach to business changed permanently. Handshakes stopped being enough. Trust began requiring proof. a pattern, not isolated incidents. Viewed individually, each moment could be dismissed as bad timing or miscommunication. Together, they form a pattern Reba could no longer ignore. Public humiliation, quiet erasure, gatekeeping, institutional control, broken promises, different players, same outcome. Reba was consistently expected to absorb disrespect without reaction. Her silence was treated as consent. Her grace was mistaken for weakness. What makes her response remarkable is that she didn't retaliate by burning bridges. She changed the rules internally. She stopped trusting silence. She stopped assuming tradition meant loyalty. She stopped believing power would protect fairness. Instead, she protected herself. Reba didn't expose these stories to shame anyone. She shared them to explain why silence is not always strength. In a business built on smiles and politeness, clarity became her defense. She remembered. And remembering, in Nashville, is its own form of power. The quiet power of clarity. Reba McEntire never stood on a stage and named names. She never demanded apologies or asked the industry to choose sides. She did something far more unsettling. She adjusted. She observed. She remembered. In a world where confrontation is often punished and silence is rewarded, Reba learned when each one mattered. These moments didn't harden her. They refined her. She kept her dignity intact and her legacy protected. The truth behind her story isn't about feuds. It's about how easily legends can be erased when power goes unquestioned. Reba didn't stop loving country music. She stopped protecting the illusion that it would always protect her, and that may be the most honest lesson she ever taught the industry.